So anyway, there's this platform on Facebook, this group on Facebook, a HR group I'm not going to name, but basically, this week, I've been somebody told me about the group.
Hold on, pause. So are you an active Facebook user?
No.
Okay, continue.
I'm not. But the reason I went on to Facebook was because someone connected with me on LinkedIn, who I won't mention because this is not going to be like all good vibes and rainbows, what I'm about to say. But someone connected with me on LinkedIn, really cool. Listen to the pod, you know who you are, shout out you. And then I was like, how did you find out about... No, I found them because they had mentioned the pod on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, how did you find out about it? She said, I found out from this group on Facebook, this HR group. And I was like, I've never heard of this group. I think I mentioned it to you and you was like, yeah, I know that group. So I went to go, I thought I'll just join it since they're talking about the pod in the group. I'll join. So I went to join it, and then I don't use Facebook. So maybe like a couple of weeks later, I went back. I was like, let's see what's happening in the group. Because I've asked them, I've requested access. Then I went back and it was telling me join, like I had to join. So I was thinking, what did I do wrong the first time? So I've done it again. And then maybe like another 2 weeks later, I came back. And I said, wait, hold on. Did these people decline me? Did these people, they won't let me into the group? And I thought, I must have got it wrong. So I put my details in again. They ask for CIPD number if you've got one or what you do so that they can find you on LinkedIn. And then the third time I went back and they definitely, and then when I went into I was like, no, these people have definitely rejected me from this group. And I went and in the subject or in the rules of the group, they said they're no longer accepting people who are work for themselves.
Really?
So they had just been declining me, not telling me anything, and because I work for myself, they declined me.
Really?
And I'm like, people are talking about the podcast in the group, but the people on the podcast can't be. I know you're in the group anyway, but yeah, I couldn't join the group. I just felt really it's your community, you can do what you like, but also
maybe because they can't go and carrying you and complain to your employer if you say anything.
I think it's because there must be some people who are looking for work in the group who are selling themselves and their businesses,
and they don't like that.
Yeah, I don't think they like that. I wasn't going to do that. I just want to see what's happening
in the group. Just have house rules. Yeah. So
basically, I'm not in the in crowd, so I can't be in the group. So anyone, if you're in that group, you probably know what group it is.
So I can screenshot for you.
I don't care. I just wanted to know what was happening because they posted our pod in there. So I thought it was really cool that people are sharing content. Yeah,
that is pretty cool. Yeah. What have you been up to this week?
Just working. I said I want to grow the business and stuff. I think when we did episode a couple of weeks ago, I said about that's what I'm going to be focused on, and it's going really well. I'm onboarding a new client, which is really cool because it's in exactly the space that I want to be in. Yeah, it's marketing, advertising, and that sort of thing. It's just I like that. So I'm just trying to get that up and running. I'm recruiting somebody. So I've been having all initial conversations and I start interviewing, and I'm just excited about that. Really, I was supposed to go back to playing netball this week, and I signed up to this netball league. It's disappointment after disappointment, but I signed up to this netball league, paid my money, and they were the week before you start, they're going to tell you about your team, because I signed up as an individual because I haven't played netball in a couple of years now. So now I thought, I'm excited, it's near me, blah blah. And then the week before came, which was last week, and they didn't tell me about my team. So I emailed them yesterday, and then today they emailed me that, sorry, we couldn't find a team for you, so you can have your money back. Loser, yeah. They said no one wants you. They said no one wants you. So yeah, if any netball teams are looking for a ringer,
then you can step up.
Yeah, I'm ready. Listen, if you want to win, maybe I'm not the person that adds up now. But if you play,
I was gonna say, are you good?
I used to be good, but I'm very unfit at the moment. But I used to be good at netball.
Fair enough.
What about you?
What have I been doing? Well, I had my son, which is the normal thing on the weekend, but I also had my 3-year-old niece, and I just salute mums who
have 2 kids.
If you've got 2 or more kids, you're doing that. I had to entertain them all
Miss
weekend.
Rachel, isn't it?
Well, she doesn't really like Miss Rachel because she's a bit older. She's 3, so she's not really vibing on Miss Rachel.
Gracie's Corner.
No, it was something called the Fun Squad. It's a real life family that just do games and random stuff. But yeah, I took them to the park so that they would fall asleep afterwards.
Did it work?
Yeah, of course it did.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, go run, go play.
Trampoline park is good. Is Is your son too young?
I think he's too young for it. Yeah. But it was good. It was they love each other. Like they are literally each other's. Yeah, they're literally each other's biggest fans. So it's nice to have them together. But yeah,
I don't know how people.
I slept well yesterday.
I don't know how people do it. People that have like 2 kids, it's crazy. I checked out that podcast, by the way, the one that you mentioned.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I think I've seen them on Reels not on TikTok, but on like Instagram.
Okay.
I think I've seen them like come up, but yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, really enjoy it.
I've started some new true crime podcasts as well. There's this guy who makes like true crime content on YouTube. I think he's Irish, and he started a podcast. I just started it, and when I went into Spotify, I just went to true crime charts, and it was #1, and I was like, "Why?"
Is it?
This thing has like 6
What's
episodes.
he talking about? The murder thing or Murdoch? What was they called? On Netflix. Have you seen it?
No.
But it's like there's a current trial going on right now.
Oh, no.
He kills his wife and son.
No.
But the Netflix documentary is about other stuff that has happened leading up to that.
Oh, okay. No, he just talks about he just does true crime stories. But when I saw it, I was like, how can you have 6 episodes and be the #1 podcast for this? Because he has a really big platform on YouTube. So I've been listening to him. But yeah, just chilling really.
That sounds cool. And what is going on in the HR news? Actually, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So only because I really like this. So Spain have become the first European country to pass a menstrual leave law. So in Spain, when you are on your period, you can take 3 to 5 days off work if you feel uncomfortable.
Every month. Do you think people will take it?
I will be working 3 weeks.
No, but do you think people will take it, or do you think it'll be one of those things where you don't want to because what are you gonna say? Oh, I'm on my period. I'm not coming to work.
I feel like some people will take it maybe every other month or every 2 months, but I feel like you are a brave person. You should be able to, but I think you're a brave person if you actually do take it every month.
I was talking to someone about this the other day. I was like, how the whole period thing is still very stigmatized. You know, when you was like a young girl, then you was like, oh, you don't want anyone to know, but it's like we're literally fully grown adults, and it's still like a secret to run to the toilet and do whatever. So I can't imagine people being like to them. Imagine if your manager is like a man. Do you know what I mean? Or that must be short-term leave. Do you get what I mean? So it's not like you're going to be booking it in advance. Well, you can, I guess, if you know what's going to happen, but you're not going to book it in advance. So everyone's going to be like, oh, where's Velisa? I don't know. It just feels awkward. It's good that it's there.
But then if it becomes this thing in your company, it should become the norm, right? To just...
In your country, yeah. After a number of years, I'm sure it'll become more normal. But I think, I don't know what life is like in Spain and if people are just a bit more free. But I just can't imagine a lot of people in the UK taking it. And
Would you?
Huh?
Would you?
I don't know. Do you know what it is? Yeah, we're just pain is just so normalized, isn't it? So we just have the mentality that we're just supposed to get up and get on with it. So I don't know if I would feel weak. Not weak. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'd feel other people would judge me if I actually took it.
I'm taking it.
No, but you wouldn't take it all the time.
Yes, I would.
You wouldn't.
I would.
To be honest.
But I wouldn't take all the 3 to 5 days every single time.
Just the 1 day.
Yeah, but the first day is always the worst day. So I would take that 1 day to just not do work.
Even if you had to be honest, I know you have audacity, so I was going to say if you have a male manager. If you have a man as a manager.
I'll even say it so
to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Since you want to be in my business.
No, I think it's good. I think where else do they have it? I don't know, outside of Europe.
So Spain's the only one in Europe, and then outside of Europe, it's only South Korea, Indonesia, Zambia, Japan, and Taiwan that have it.
Wow. So nowhere in I guess the Americas.
Really?
Even the South Americas.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry, because I was about to say.
I know it was never going to be in the US. Simple maternity pay they haven't got to yet. But I think that's interesting. I think it'll be good to see which other countries follow suit. And I also feel like there'll be a lot of men who are supportive, and then some men who are just it's not fair. You know, how people are people that smoke get breaks, and I don't smoke, so I should get a break. Yeah.
I'll never forget that tweet. That was why can't I take a plantain break?
Because I like to eat. No, but that's the way people feel, isn't it? They'll be like, oh, why do women get more time off? That's literally how a lot of men are going to feel. Not like sensible ones, the stupid ones, but that's how they'll feel.
Fair. I think it's a great benefit.
But there's been a lot of stuff like that, like menopause leave as well. There's some companies that have brought in menopause leave or like menopause like benefit.
Yeah. The company I work for at the moment, they have really pushed the menopause benefit with like all the support. I think you can take up to, I think it's 10 or 15 working days you can take off with
a year.
The menopause leave, yeah. And I just think, wow, that
it's a big subject now, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. It's something I guess no one's ever really spoken about. Like, if you think about diversity or more inclusion, it's like an area of inclusion that we've never really focused on. And it's like, my understanding is that it's long to go through.
Yeah, like I remember when I was younger. And there'd always be like one woman in the office like, turn the fan on.
Yeah.
Why it's hot in here? And I'm like, no, it's not.
Now you get it. now you understand.
Yeah, now I'm like, oh, okay, I get what you were going through now.
Yeah. There's just more stuff around. I just think we're thinking a bit more widely, or countries or governments or companies are thinking a bit more widely about inclusion now. So I think that's really cool. On that kind of in a similar, I guess, subject, I was telling you that Diageo, they announced some new fertility benefits, like I saw on LinkedIn, and we were like, oh, fertility benefits, what does that mean? We're thinking like they're going to pay for IVF and all this other kind of stuff, and actually they were just saying that you get leave, which I guess is better than having no leave. That's if you're undergoing fertility treatment or if your partner is undergoing fertility treatment, and obviously it doesn't matter your age, your sex, your whatever. But yeah, I was just like, I think because I'm used to seeing like big companies, when they say fertility benefits, they mean
money.
Yeah, we're going to pay for your IVF if you need it. But yeah, it's a nice,
I mean, it's cute.
Gesture.
It's cute.
It's cute. Yeah, it is. But it's not like...
I'm expecting money. Like, I remember it was, oh gosh, I want to say JP Morgan were offering to pay for gender reassignment for trans people.
Wow.
I think it was JP Morgan. And like other companies, was it Goldman Sachs? It was one of them.
One of those banks that have a lot of money. Yeah.
Basically. And they were also paying for fertility. And I was telling you as well that Meta, I don't know if they still do it because they're going through it, but there was a benefit of paying for fertility on individuals.
I feel like that gender reassignment one is big because it literally costs like so much money. Like, if you do that, you will literally get people applying just so that they can do their service and get it.
100%. I know there's a lot of like discussions around it. It's kind of it's relevant, but it's not relevant. But with like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, their daughter Zaya has officially won the right to change her gender officially to female.
Is she too young in law?
I believe she's under 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so it became a thing.
They're super supportive. So was she presumably?
They support it, but her biological mum does not.
Okay.
She was fighting it, saying that she's too young and you know it's not right, blah 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 blah. But yeah, to your point, it will if more companies did offer that, it would literally for the whole population of people, you would literally just immediately become the employer of choice. It's like when you have a good maternity, like if for instance a company goes on LinkedIn and starts saying we do 12 months full pay maternity pay, me myself I would down tools and apply when the time comes. Do you know what I mean? Like we'll flock. It's true. We'll be
doing the calculations. How much length of service do you need to have?
It's true. But so it's cute what Diageo are doing.
Yeah,
but
it's cute. But
compared to what other companies are offering or wanting to offer, I think they could do more.
Yeah, but it's hard. But it's like
it's nice.
It is nice because no one is really like, not a lot of companies in the UK are doing that much. So it is nice. But when I was like, oh, I opened it and we read it and I was just like, oh, leave. Okay,
that's nice.
It's nice. Like
I would have called in sick anyway, but.
And you can call in sick, isn't it? You just call in sick because if you're going through it.
Yeah, but I guess it's nice to acknowledge because from what I see, it's not easy to go through things like IVF in terms of you're constantly like injecting yourself. You can't be stressed, and you're just hoping that it works, but it might not be your first round that it works and all that stuff. So it's good acknowledgement.
There's a woman that I don't know if I actually follow her, but she comes up on my TikTok a lot. She's a lesbian woman, and she was trying to have a baby with her partner, and then they broke up, and then now she's just doing it with her mum. Oh, and it's so cute. Yeah, like her mum is like the second parent is going to be like taking on the role of the secondary carer, and she's I guess she's like a masculine presenting lesbian as well. So she was really worried about coming on TikTok, and she's just like, oh, I didn't expect all this, and it's just really cute to follow her journey. And she's been doing like a debrief of like how much everything costs, giving advice, and it's just been so cute. And because like she broke up with her partner, she decided to go do it again, and then her and her mum are just in it, like they did the gender reveal together. It was just sweet. It was so sweet.
That's cute, because TikTok will either praise you or drag you.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
Yeah, there's no in between.
Yeah, no. I still love it though, I can't lie. I've seen there's so many things I've seen. There's a lot more HR stuff going on TikTok, like a lot of HR people giving HR advice on TikTok, which is kind of cool. Yeah,
TikTok is it's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the ghetto, but it's great. As soon as I see something, I run to the comments just to see if someone's thinking what I'm thinking.
My favorite feature about TikTok is like, when people are talking and they're like, oh, I'm not going to mention the person, and then in the search bar, everybody has already searched it, so it will tell you exactly who they're talking about. It'll tell you exactly who they're talking about.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I just feel like that guy. What's his name? Something. The guy who does the food reviews in La Vegas.
Oh, yes. And
someone tried to drag him.
Yeah, they did. I love him.
Yeah, what's his name? I wanted to say Lakeith, but that's not him. Is it Keith?
Lakeith is
Keith Lee. Lakeith is the one.
Get Out and stuff.
Yeah, he's the one that had under his fingernails. That's the only thing I can ever remember.
That was this moaning on Clubhouse. If you know, you know.
What?
I said if you know, you know.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, Keith Lee. Like, yeah, I'm enjoying. I enjoy TikTok.
Yeah. No, he's great. What else is in the news?
I guess I want to say on a lighter note, but it's not really a lighter note. So basically, there was an article that we saw, and it said that theft from employees has gone up by 20%, which is not on a lighter note, but it's just funny because it's literally like we need to steal now. You know, people say like it's so long, like it's so hard, the cost of living. Like I'm gonna start stealing. People go on TikTok and joke, but some people are literally stealing from work
because he lives.
So yeah, like employees be stealing from their employers.
But what how did they define that? Because is it stealing if
yes.
Is it stealing if you've just taken an extra charger home, or
what are you doing with the charger? Actually,
like if your office is one of those offices that has snacks, but you've taken some home for your family.
I feel like that's fine, because if you ate, if you ate all those snacks at work, it will be fine. You might be eating them for later. I think that's fine. It's more like, oh, I'm gonna, steal the stock, or I'm gonna steal the equipment and I'm gonna sell it on eBay. I don't know. That's not. That wasn't in the article, but that's what it was giving. It was giving like literally that, because what you're gonna do, the extra snacks, I guess you're gonna eat, but all the extra charger, what are you gonna do with it? How is it gonna help you with the cost of living?
If you don't sell it.
If you don't sell it,
that's true.
Well, I guess you might stop you having to buy one yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Cost of living is people.
That's just a perk. I think if you take stuff from work and you're using it for yourself, that's just a perk.
Okay, but then when you start to profit, that's when it becomes theft.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Is that what you're?
If you're
are you happy to sit on that to the people? Like, yeah, guys, if you want to go to your workplace and take a charger, a keyboard, and a monitor.
If you need a charger, yeah, for your phone, and they have one at work, and you take it, I mean, I don't think that's really in the 20%. To be honest, I mean, if you open your eBay shop, then that's when we have to draw the line. I'm actually going to check like what kind of stuff people were doing, but I reckon a lot of like in stores and stuff as well, that will be a big thing.
Yeah, like in like retail and stuff.
Yeah.
It is sad though that the cost of living has pushed more employees to steal from the workplace.
Like to be honest, I think some employees you don't really have to ask. Like they're happy to steal from their employer.
Some didn't wait for the cost of living. Oh,
hold on. The areas where there was the biggest increase were Lincolnshire, Norfolk, Gloucestershire, Metropolitan Police. Is that London?
Metropolitan Police.
Yeah.
As in the the police.
No, these are the policing districts or whatever. So the Met's London, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, in London. It's hard for us out here.
It is. London is expensive.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, people are stealing.
I mean, cost of living. And then in addition to them stealing, 60% of employees are thinking of starting a side hustle.
In 2023.
But side hustle doesn't necessarily guarantee money.
Yeah, but I think people are, they're hoping to make money, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Otherwise, it's a hobby.
That's true.
I saw something and people were like, people are not allowed to have hobbies anymore. Like if you have a hobby which
you're rich,
that can make you money, everybody feels the need to monetize it. Whereas before people had hobbies. Now it's like if you do anything which you're good at or you could make money from, people feel the need to monetize it. So it can't even be a hobby anymore because it's work.
Yeah, that's sad. Everyone needs a hobby, like something that they do just because they want to do it, not because they want to make money from it.
Yeah. But that's the Gen Z thing. Like Gen Z, I think when I was looking at some stats, there were some surveys, and it was like 56% of Gen Z said they want to work for themselves one day. And I think it was like...
I'm trying not to roll my eyes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, they want to work for themselves one day. And then 20% of them, was it 20%? Or just under 20% said they believe they already do. It said they already do, but I say they believe they already do because I don't believe the percentage is that high. But they are the side hustle generation because they grew up during the age of like the tech, the self-made tech billionaire people, doing
the
Kickstarters,
the influencers.
Yeah, they literally, so they grew up in an age where they know that actually they can work for themselves and it can actually work. So they're like, as a generation, they're so much more willing and likely to go out and do things by themselves.
I mean, I love that for them.
Yeah.
But also go and learn from somebody.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. It's like, that's, I think, if you're not wise, then you'll think, I want to work for myself. And then you'll just be like, wow, I don't know anything.
I mean,
you have to learn business. That's what you have to learn. Because even if you have like a product or something or a skill or a service that you can offer, if you don't know business, that's why all of these Instagram hairstylists, all of these people, that's why everyone's dragging them, because they have no customer service skills.
Don't get me started.
No, they have no customer. They don't know how to run a business. They're shouting at people in their stories, telling them why they're trying to book.
I don't understand.
There's no customer service.
When I saw a story saying, listen, I'm tired of people coming into my DMs. I've told you, email me. I'm like, are you okay?
No, literally.
Like, are you sick?
And then you'll email them and they will respond back to you. There was a makeup artist that I had inquired with, right? And then by the time they came back to me pretty quickly. And I was like, okay, so I want to do this day. They asked me some questions like, what look, blah, blah. They never came back to me after that. And I sent some follow-ups and then they didn't respond back. So I booked somebody else. And then I think like 9 days later, they came back to me and like, I'm so sorry. Do you still want? I said, the time, it was like a last minute thing. I was like, the time has come and gone. Like, what is that?
I can't stand them. That's why when they were all getting dragged on Clubhouse, I was locked in, I was listening, and I was like, good, because people need to know.
Yeah, but I think that's a big part of it. It just, you just want to, you have a talent, but you don't know business, and that's like, But people trying to start side hustles.
Yeah, I mean, I think side hustles are fair, and a lot of people they link their side hustles to what they do. Like us, for example, like we'd call our podcast the side hustle.
Is it a side hustle?
What is it then?
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast, which is our side hustle, basically.
Yeah.
But we are also HR professionals.
Yeah. So
it's linked.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a side hustle.
It's not a side hustle. Do we need to discuss this off air?
I mean, I think if something makes money, does that make it a side hustle?
I don't think so. I think
it's the intent of wanting to make money.
Yeah, that makes it.
I want to make money, so yeah. I'm in agreement with you now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See? Yeah. What else is going on?
I saw something about the job centre, so what's it, Job Centre Plus or whatever they're called, the government is trialling like a new scheme across 60 job centres where they're basically incentivizing the work coaches and stuff to get more people back into work. So whoever gets like basically the most people back into work, or there's like a league table, and people will win like a bonus, but the bonus is vouchers, £250 in vouchers, which, to be honest,
vouchers of your choice.
It didn't specify, but
because vouchers already in cost of living.
It's gonna
that's
be.
Not
it's gonna.
need.
What's that one? It's gonna be Love to Shop or One for All. You know, one of them ones where you can spend it anywhere.
That's not bad, because at least I can do my food shopping with them.
Yeah, no, actually, I don't know what it is, but I'm saying that one will make the most sense.
Hopefully, it's that.
But you know, it's the government, so they're all trying to be like, they'll be like, it's Tesco.
Could be anything. Yeah.
Tesco's, because like they'll have to be like a bit like reasonable.
But cost of living.
Yeah, but I thought it was interesting because that, and there was one other story which was linked to it. The government is trying to incentivize GPs, or trying to get GPs to basically not just sign people off work.
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah, and they don't want to just sign people off work. They want to encourage other things, other interventions or other solutions which will keep people in work.
But mind your business. Like, if I go to my doctor because I want to be signed off, like.
The thing is, what we talk about, the thing is, I think when it comes to being signed off, people literally, how it should work is you go and tell your doctor what's going on with you, and then your doctor should recommend things for you, like things that could help. What really happens now is people say, I want to be signed off from work. The doctor signs them off. Whereas before, I think it really was like, I'm feeling this way, and doctor says, why don't you have some time off work? But now it's like, I don't want to go to work right now, so can you sign me off? Either because they're genuinely sick and they know themselves, or because they just want to be signed off. And as a doctor, you're not going to challenge it, because you don't want to send someone back to work who's not ready.
Yeah.
But the government is basically like, rather than you just signing people off all the time, why don't you suggest other things to them? But it's like, what else are you going to give to them?
Suggest?
Because if it's like mental health, you can't even offer therapy for the next 3 years. Like, the waiting list is so long. Like, what are you going to offer them? It has to be a real solution.
Yeah.
So that's one way the government's trying to get people back into work. And then there's this job centre thing. And with the job centre, I don't know if I've worked in smaller businesses, right? And like when the government had the Kickstart scheme, or when you're trying to really do something good and you can engage with the job centre for recruitment, job centres are rubbish. They're the worst recruiters in the world work in a job centre. Like, that's why they don't need £250. They need to be trained, and you need to teach them that they're actually recruiters, or that they're like work coaches or whatever. They're so bad. Like, they have no recruitment skills whatsoever. Like, even to place people with the right, like in the right kind of company, like they're not incentivized to do that. So maybe now this might help, but
is that also, and I don't know, but is it also partly how they view people who go through the job centre to get a job? Like, are they thinking, like, is there an unconscious bias there in terms of, you know, this person has come through the job centre, so I'm not really gonna bother because
and I think it possibly like, I think some of them will be that, and some of the people that go to the job centre, they are really not ready to work. Like, they're not mentally prepared to work, in terms of like, I can't, like, you see them and you'll be like, they're probably not going to get on any sort of employment. Like, when I was getting people into work via, like, who were on universal credit via the Kickstart scheme, you would come across people and you're like, yeah, you're amazing. And then you'd come across other like young people who were just like, you need, I don't know if it's that you need training, but you need polishing, not in terms of like how you speak or whatever, but just knowing actually what you're there to do. And like, a lot of people that I would sometimes just go sit in the job centre when I was trying to recruit these people, and you'll be like, what do you want to do? And they'll come up with like some really niche things. It's like, it's not that I just want a job. It's like, I would like, ideally like a job maybe in like social media management. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not gonna say that you shouldn't go for that, but also like, if the aim is to get you back into work, maybe
be realistic.
Because social media manager jobs, they're not necessarily recruiting at the job centre. Like, they're usually entry level roles, or do you know what I mean? But yeah, like the DWP, they're the worst, like the worst recruiters. So all of this stuff about £250, I don't really think it's going to do anything, because I don't believe they have the skills
to do it.
No, they don't. Like, they're really, really terrible. Like, they literally, people show up to their appointments and then they'll be like, oh, have you looked for jobs? They'll be like, oh yeah, have you considered this job? Okay, you need to apply for jobs so that you can continue getting your universal credit. And that's the extent of a lot of the support. If they let me do, anyway, If they let me go in
there,
I'll take the 250 from everybody. I'll take it from everybody. But yeah, so the government just wants people to work. We need to support this aging population.
It's true. I actually saw that the government are creating a pipeline to encourage the 50 plus back into the workplace. Yeah, I don't know.
They want them to earn money because we can't afford to sustain them. That's why they want us to have more babies, but they don't want to pay us
at all. But I think it's a bit ridiculous to encourage people who have like maybe retired or you know thought by this point they wouldn't have to work and stuff like this. If I get started on this government, because that's
but the only people who will actually do it are people who need to do it, isn't it? Or who just want a little something to keep them occupied.
Busy. Yeah, that's true.
There's a company that literally does that. Like their whole thing is about opportunities for people that are 50 and over, because obviously there's a lot of age discrimination. So even people that could contribute to the workforce, sometimes they don't get the opportunity because people just think, oh, you're old, you won't be able to do it. So I think it's good for the government to encourage it, but also like, again, I feel like the government is always talking about, oh, let's do these things, but what are you doing to help? Like you can start this pipeline, but what are you going to do for these people who might be trying to retire? What additional thing are you going to offer them? Stop. Make sure they don't have to pay national insurance over 50, because you still have to pay it until you're whatever age, or give them a tax cut, or do something to get them to make it worth their while.
Because it's not until retirement age that you don't pay NI, right?
Yeah, or tell employers, like when the government was doing all that kickstart scheme trying to get people back into work, for every apprentice that you took in, they gave you $3,000. $3,000 to hire, and obviously you have to pay the apprentice stuff, but you still got $3,000. So how are you encouraging people to hire over 50s? The government just does a lot of talking. Oh, we want to incentivize us.
They don't want to do that.
What are you doing?
They want to offer vouchers.
It's just ideas. Give us cash. People are stealing from employers, and you.
It's true. People are literally stealing from the workplace and creating side hustles. Like pay people.
Even you know what I was deep in the other day? Like even MPs have side hustles. Like they make it. Look at Matt Hancock. Is he even an MP anymore?
No, I don't think so.
But even him, when he was like an actual MP, went in like even the MPs need more money.
All the talks that they do, they make so much money from doing those talks. Like I saw Boris made, I think it was 2 million from a talk.
What can he be talking on? Is it just like, oh, the former prime minister comes to speak? Because people can't surely want his opinion or his like, what is it? Is it just to recount what it was like for him during COVID as prime minister?
I don't know.
Because they can't be asking someone like Tony Blair, obviously his own issues, but you know, stuff happened. Do you know what I mean? Like some stuff that people might think was positive happened during his time. With Boris Johnson, like what is he really talking about?
Talking shit.
Literally. And Matt Hancock, like all of the people need to stop allowing him to have like platforms on.
That's because I'm a celeb. They all like him now, don't they?
No, but even before that, wasn't he on wasn't Steve Bartlett? I'll never forgive him for that.
Yeah, he was.
I will never forgive Steve Bartlett for that.
He did do it. Steve Bartlett's just all about the
he's an engagement
monger. Yeah, exactly.
He's literally
it.
Steve Bartlett, is the corporate shade room. The shade borough, corporate shade borough.
That's funny.
He is, because he literally like anything for engagement. Like he'll just bring people, even the sound bites. You know, when everyone was dragging Molly May, that was his fault.
It's true.
Because people that listen to his podcast, they didn't go and clip that up. He was like, oh, I saw that this clip is doing the rounds. I'm like, you literally put that sound bite out. Like, no, he is the corporate shade borough.
Yeah, he does find a bit, like I saw the Davina McCall TikTok, because she went on his podcast as well, and the soundbite was literally her talking about like when she was on drugs, and you know, our good Davina McCall. You know?
Engagement monger. But I guess, I mean, we all are, isn't it, to an extent? But yeah, he's there. Side related, have you seen these TikToks about Sky News and the cost of there's all these people that went on Sky News, asked all these like young people to come on and talk about the cost of living and how it's affecting them, and they basically made them all look really poor, to the extent that people were like asking them like, do you need help? This guy was like, girls that he's talking to are like, I can lend you money. And it's like, this girl was like, I was in Paris last week, like why did they make me look like that? And they propagate them like terrible stories, like said that they couldn't pay their rent. I'm just like, why is Sky News doing this?
The media. That's why people don't trust them.
Engagement mongers.
Yeah, that's why people don't trust the media. So like not related to cost of living at all. But I was looking up the like FTSE 500 companies, and 68% are Gen X.
100 or 500? FTSE 100 or Fortune 500?
FTSE 100.
Okay, FTSE 100, yeah.
I think, it was FTSE 100.
Yeah, it was, because it was like the 8.
It was, yeah. And 68% are Gen X.
Oh, the people who run them?
Who are CEOs.
Oh, the CEOs.
Yeah,
Gen
which
X.
is 1965 to 1980.
So basically 42 and up. 42 to 50 something.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense. And there'll be some that are older than that for sure.
Yeah. But then there's no black CEOs in that. And only 8 are women. All 8 are white women, but they're not all British, because this was UK companies as well, by the way. They're not all British, but they were all white. About half were over 50. The women.
Oh, half of this of the women
of those 8, yeah.
I'm just that's it. It's like not even shocking. There used to be one a black CEO, and I remember I think he was either at Aviva or Prudential. He was at one of the insurance companies, and he was black, and he was the CEO. And I remember that must have been like 2015 or something, because I remember when I found out, I was so impressed, and I was just like thinking, oh wow, like I didn't think it could be me or anything, but I just thought, oh, that's nice that there's a black CEO. But it's like, how is there was one and now there's none? Like, it's just so bad. And like, how do people respond to that? It's so easy to get away from it, because obviously for every individual company, not having a black CEO is not a big deal. Yeah, but then when you aggregate it all, and you're like, okay, there's 100 of you and not one, you can all look at, that Spider-Man meme, like
literally,
yeah, it's you, it's all of you.
Well, a few companies are looking at gender instead. So, companies like Morgan Stanley, NatWest, they are all campaigning for at least 25 of these companies to have women as CEOs by 2025.
Is it the ones that have women as CEOs already?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, of course. Of course.
Yes, it is. But they're campaigning for at least 25 companies to do that. So
what do you think about that? Like, what about that campaign? Like, what do you think is a good idea?
It is what it is. Like, I feel like it feels a bit performative, because all these companies, they do still have women in leadership. So they could create like succession lines where these women could be in CEO positions. And I just feel like that isn't happening enough. I
read one article, it must have been like 20, I remember it was it's about 2019. I read this article, and it was about basically what percentage of FTSE 100 CEOs have a HR background. Because a lot of the if you look at the board, there'll be a lot of the women on the board. So they had this 30% club maybe like 10 years ago. It was like, we want 30% of the board to be women, and they all were kind of trying to get to this 30% number. Some got there, some didn't. But of all the women who are on boards, so many of them will be HR. So like, that's the easiest role for a woman to be on a board, HR. And HR don't typically become, the CEOs doesn't typically have a HR background. They have a finance background or an ops background. Or if you're a tech company, maybe they even have a technology background, even legal. But the CEO basically is I can't remember what the stat was. I'm going to try and find it. But it was like, they basically never come from HR.
That's not surprising.
So how are you going to get like the women that you are already there, the pipeline that they have, that a lot of them will be in HR. And if the HR people don't even progress, it's going to be really hard to find those female CEOs.
Yeah, I do feel like people with HR backgrounds would make really good CEOs.
Excellent CEOs.
Like, we're very well rounded.
It literally, like, I completely agree, because you have to touch like what you spoke about last week, all the partnering, having to understand different parts of the business, and especially if it's a business which is like a human capital business or something like professional, a law firm or a consulting firm, even a big recruitment business, anything which is your whole product is people, like that should be like your chief people officer should be one of the first people 100%. In line for that role. If all you have, you know, these business, all they have a consulting business, like, I don't know, Deloitte, Accenture, PwC. Literally, sometimes they say they have tech, but really your whole product is putting people in with other people, business, and other businesses. Yeah. So literally, that's your biggest asset. And that person, should definitely, but it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't, but it should. But I feel like a lot of the CEOs that I come across have sales backgrounds, numbers, CFOs as well, that, you know, are morphed into CEOs. But I think HR would actually be perfect.
That's the campaign that they should start. But you know what? Yeah, if they start that campaign,
it'll be men though.
Yeah, I it'll be men who are like literally first in line.
Because somehow, some way, even though
in a female-dominated profession,
somehow the men are still the leaders in a female-dominated profession like
it's
HR.
Crazy. I saw that BBC actually just appointed a chief people officer.
Man,
Oh,
really?
I just saw it literally just popped up today. So it must be like literally hot off the press. But it's like I've got friends that work in nursing, and it's the same.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
In nursing, like men typically rise faster than women.
Really?
In a female-dominated thing like nursing.
My gosh. Well, speaking of gender, actually, so the gender pay gap. There was a report released that said that it's only from now, so in February, like late February, that women are technically now being paid in their job roles based on the gender pay gap.
So
men would have, based on these statistics, they would be paid for the whole year, and women would have just started getting paid.
So we work for 2 months for free?
We work for 2 months for free, yeah, based on the gender pay gap.
Do you know, I had a conversation with somebody and they were saying, does the gender pay gap really exist? And I literally...
Can you imagine?
Almost lost my mind. They was like,
did you respond?
I had to, and I had to explain it. But you know, all this like Jordan Peterson and them man there, like Jordan Peterson, like he has loads of videos about how the gender pay gap doesn't really exist.
Can you imagine?
You know, he speaks in a very like academic way.
So it's people believe him.
Exactly. Yeah. He speaks so academically that people think that what he's talking about is the truth, but it's like literally no, like I don't know what it's like in Canada, but here like the gender pay gap, and people don't understand how it's created, what the gender pay gap is. They think it's like men and women are not paid the same in your organization, and that's different. That's equal pay. And actually you can make an equal pay claim. So let's say me and you work, and let's say I'm a man, you're a woman, you can be like, oh, you're not getting paid the same as me, and then they have to sort that out. But with gender pay, for anyone, I guess if you don't know what it is, they look at the average salary of women in the organization and the average salary of men, and then they work that out. And obviously then it takes into account seniority. So if you have a very male-heavy organization where there's lots of men at the top and women are at the bottom, the salaries of the women or the total comp of the women will be much lower than the men. And then that's how you get the gender pay gap. And that's what happens in society. So men are paid more than women. We're not necessarily comparing role for role. We're talking about overall. So that's how you get the gender pay gap. And then people say, does the gender pay gap exist? And I'm like, are you a moron?
Like literally, of course it exists. But yeah, that is really shameful that women would not be paid for the first 2 months based on the gender pay gap. Like that's...
And you'll still have people say stuff like, but maybe the men are just better.
What?
Yeah, no, honestly, it's all the women's stuff is like, I think for some people it gets a bit much. They're like, oh, you guys are doing this, you guys are doing that. But it's like, we're literally only doing this because we need it, because things are not fair.
Literally, that's it. Things are not fair. You know, I do feel like companies do try and... I do think companies try to fight for, you know, women in the workplace. I feel like that's the first place that people go for diversity.
It's the easiest one.
Yeah, it's like an easy target to go for. Yeah. But I still don't think enough is done.
I think it depends on the industry and in the type of role as well. So I think gender is so easy to discuss because everyone is comfortable with, like, I mean...
Are they?
When we talk about binary gender, like male, female, like it's very easy to discuss because everyone's just kind of like, it's fine. It's easy to be like, to be an ally for women. It's easier to be an ally for women than to, because you have a wife, you have a mum, you have a whatever. Like there's some empathy built in there in theory, although there are the ones that hate us anyway. But like it's easier. There's inbuilt empathy there. So I do think it's like the place that people go. They just default to
100%
going to that, where it's much easier than discussing like disability or discussing race or discussing religion or discussing like even neurodiversity. I think that's a little bit easier as well now. It's getting a bit easier. It's easier to talk about I don't know, someone who's dyslexic or someone who has ADHD. Easier to talk about, but I don't know about work with. I think people still struggle with that. Like you understand that someone has is neurodivergent and maybe has different needs, but you're still like, you still don't want to adjust how you're working for this person.
Yeah, I feel like people don't know what to do still.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. They just acknowledge it is a thing, but they don't like you're saying, they don't necessarily accommodate or adjust, but they're just aware that, there's people who are neurodivergent around them. Yeah, and which isn't good.
I've also read something recently, which was like the number of adults that are now going for assessments for stuff like ADHD, dyslexia stuff has like skyrocketed.
Yeah,
but I'm not shocked.
It's kind of a side note, but I was watching 90s Babies, and Fred actually said that he wanted to get a official diagnosis because he basically tried to like diagnose himself
with what.
He's saying Asperger's, which is like, trying to self-diagnose. That's a bit deep. But obviously just being on the spectrum, I think is what he was trying to get diagnosed. But people are doing it. Yeah,
but I thought the reason it wasn't surprising me is because there's loads of people talking about it on TikTok about how they were like diagnosed later in life with ADHD.
Yeah, the TikToks are a bit rife though,
making sense, and now everybody like believes that they are ADHD. People are actually not diagnosing themselves. I mean, they're not actually getting diagnosed.
Yeah, I think the TikToks are a bit rife. Like it will be things like, I've got a short attention span, and just regular things that loads of people have. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've got XYZ.
Would you do a test now, like if you believed that you were like, I don't know, you maybe had if I felt like it was hindering me or I was getting frustrated because of it, then I would. But if I felt like it wasn't really gonna change anything for me, then no. Yeah, but the thing is, you might not know that you wouldn't even know that it was a hindrance because that would just be your norm.
That's true.
Because like me, the way my brain works, I don't know why, but in some like packages you can use like the font for dyslexia. I always use that. I don't know why. It just is better for me in it. But I don't believe I'm dyslexic. But also because I don't feel like it's kind of held me back at all in life. I wouldn't. I'm not minded to do it. Yeah. But imagine if I did it and I found out and I was just like, oh, I could have. Things could have been easier. Maybe my norm. That
grant at uni.
I'll go back.
The laptop.
I'll go back. But like, do you know what I mean? Imagine if things in theory were harder, but you just won't know.
Yeah, it's true. You wouldn't know because you'd be so used to it in your adult life.
This is how hard everybody finds it to read or to do these exercises.
That's very true.
Yeah. So a lot of people are trying to get those assessments, but the waiting list on the NHS they said something about 3 years. Oh. I was speaking to someone I know that runs like a wellbeing app, and she was saying that they now got like CQC qualified and stuff, so they can start doing more through the platform. She's a doctor, and one of the things that they're going to pick up is all of these assessments because the waiting list in the NHS is so long.
Did you see that just reminded me, because of all these long like waits for the NHS, have you seen someone's created mental health subscription boxes?
No.
Where it's just like literally to help you with your mental health. Because
but what's in a subscription box?
It was things like I saw random things. It wasn't like pampering stuff. It wasn't like candles and things like that. Let me find it.
What? I also had a conversation with someone who was basically talking about because the waiting list in the NHS is so long, there's a lot more people on medication that should be, because when you go to the GP, basically what they really want to encourage you to do is go and get therapy, have different types of therapies, right? But because you can't get those therapies, the only thing that GPs can really do immediately, and they know that it will help, is medication. So they're saying that a lot more people, like, you know, loads of people now, there's been an uptake in a number of people on antidepressants. So loads of people are on like sertraline or whatever it is. And it's because the stuff that, the non-medication stuff that would help them is so difficult to access.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's easier to get medication than it is to get therapy.
Yeah, so it has things like an emotional first aid kit.
What is that?
It's got like there's like a colouring book. It's just random things that you just shouldn't have to use because you can't get an appointment to actually look at your mental health properly.
Yeah. I saw this post on LinkedIn, and it was about like wellbeing support for employees, and I can't remember what the list of things were, but it was like, this is not wellbeing support. They're talking about stuff like dogs in the office or massages at work, and they was like, what you need is education, what you need is you know boundaries, training, like all these things that can help. But you know, everyone always says, oh, wellbeing, and like, what are the wellbeing support that employers actually offer? An EAP that's usually free.
Oh,
like, you're not even investing in it. Like, it usually comes free with one of those insurance products.
Yeah, I would love to see the stats for companies to see how often employees actually utilize EAP, how many employees actually know EAP exists. But I do think it's almost lazy to just say, you know, you have an EAP. Yeah, like, what are companies actually
It's the bare minimum now. And I've seen stats, like, in some of the companies I've worked in, and EAPs are usually really underutilized.
Yeah.
And HR teams spend so much time encouraging people to use the EAP. And now it's like one of the things that it just goes on the bottom of a letter. You know, when you write an agreement, we recognize that this may be a difficult time
That's
for
what
you.
I mean when I say lazy. Like, it's just something that's put into templates.
Literally, just put it in the thing.
Yeah, or you've had a difficult conversation with someone.
Make sure you send them the EAP.
As per our discussion, you know, here's the EAP.
Literally, I can recite that stuff. We recognize that this may be a difficult time for you.
Yeah.
We encourage you to use the support and resources that are available as an ex-employee, including our EAP, which can be accessed using these details. Literally
to the point where I actually used EAP just to see how it works for myself, because I was like, I'm telling people to use it and I've never used it. I don't know exactly. And I found out they do loads of stuff like financial advice.
Yeah,
it's not just, you know,
you can get
having a counselling sort of conversation. Like, there's loads of other things.
Of stuff. Like, they can give you like not paternity, what's that, custody, not paternity, they can't help you there, but custody, like if you're going through like a divorce or if you're having custody issues, they can give advice on like stuff like that. When I was buying my flat, I got advice from EAP around like mortgage brokers and some kind of low level information.
They do a lot of things.
But it's really poorly utilized, and it's like a catch-all, and a lot of employees don't even pay for it. It's free to them with like their insurance or something.
Yeah, it's true.
There's not really wellbeing support that they really invest in. And even like a lot of the apps and the platforms that you get access to, what employees, I'm not saying everyone needs therapy, but they don't really like Headspace. I mean, respectfully, it's good for if you're interested in meditating, but like, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but then what
difference is that going to make? Breathing exercises.
What well-being do you think would be good in the office? Because, you know, companies are doing really random things like dog yoga and, you know, Pilates.
I'm not gonna lie, puppy therapy is a thing.
Yeah, so
like, that's a good one.
See, but that's what I'm saying. So, but then to somebody else, like the person on LinkedIn, that's not necessarily being seen as well-being. So, what do you?
It needs to be arranged.
What do you see?
Needs to be arranged. You need to figure out what is positively and negatively affecting the employees in your business from a well-being perspective, and the things that are good for them, make sure that like encourage those things, do more of those things, and the things that are bad, put in interventions to stop that. So if you actually have issues around workload, there's no point in saying, oh, we're going to do puppy therapy or we're going to do this, like you're going to get a massage because you're so stressed. Why don't you deal with the cause of the stress, which is the heavy workload, and recruit some more people or redistribute the work in the team? Like, all of that kind of stuff is what you need to do. Like, if are your managers even able to spot when somebody is experiencing signs of stress or burnout? Like, those are the kind of things that you need to do. like it has to be a mix. And then obviously you can do those nice things, but those nice things are like only good when people are at they have good well-being already,
and they have the headspace to actually participate in things like that.
Like you can't be, it's not a substitute for actually like being like your duty of care that you have to your employees. It's not a substitute. It's something that can be nice on top if you're already doing the right things. Can't do all the wrong things, stress people out, burn them out, treat them like, you know, disposable tissue, and then like be like, oh yeah, by the way, massages in the office today.
That's true. I agree. I think with well-being, it's a funny one because companies try with the whole well-being thing, like how they speak about it, but I think you're right. It has to be more than just doing the nice stuff, like the like, you know, massages, nail, hair, that sort of thing.
There's a lot of companies doing allowances now as well, but they're like well-being allowance. And then
I actually think that's a good one, the well-being allowance and subsidizing stuff. I remember at Meta, and so it used to be a well-being allowance where you'd get, was it like $1,500 or something like that to yourself? And I remember someone used it for skiing, and there was this big debate about whether or not this was well-being or not.
Why is it not a holiday?
Yeah, but it was because he used it for like the ski kart thing, you know, I used it for that. And
but how did it work? Because the thing is, a lot of companies just pay it as cash, and then it just ends up in your pay, and then it's just now merged with your pay on a monthly basis.
Like expense it.
Oh, so people do.
Yeah, they would have to expense it, but then they changed it to you get $2,700 for basically whatever you want. Like you can use it towards paying off your student loan, or you could use it towards.
But that's what I mean. Is that with that kind of stuff?
But that's still well-being. But I think it's
it's money is what.
It's more money helps.
Yeah, I saw this again. 90s baby, shout them out. I saw this clip of, it was Fred speaking, and I think he was on the podcast with them. It might have been the one that, I don't know if it was one that had Elio Petrone on it, but anyway, he was talking about therapy. He was like, I'm going to therapy and I'm still angry, what now? And then they was like, oh yeah, but maybe if you talk to the therapist, he was like, no, what I need is money. That will solve all my problems.
For real, it will solve a lot of problems for a lot of people. Problems.
And I was like, nah, I hear you, because it's not like different people need different things. But
so money helps.
I do think money helps, but then also I think the well-being allowance can be lost in the sense that if you just pay it to people, then even though you know you're giving them a well-being allowance, they won't feel it as a well-being allowance, especially in this cosy lives. It will just get sucked up into all their other money, and they probably won't.
But then is that helpful though? Does that not help with well-being?
It does help with well-being, but if the aim of the allowance is to encourage them to do
something
things
for their mental health,
yeah, I mean, paying your bills is good for your mental health, innit? But girl, yeah, so I think it can get like swallowed up. It's the same when people do, like companies do, like your benefits. You can either have benefits or you can have cash. It's the same kind of thing, because a lot of people take the cash and then they'll say that they have rubbish benefits. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
It just takes away from like what you want. You want people to actually have health insurance and all these other kind of things. But if you offer them the cash, they'll take it and they'll say that you have rubbish benefits.
That's true. I hear it. I hear both sides.
Yeah, but I'm down with. I mean, I'd rather have a wellbeing allowance than have none.
Yeah, of course. I never use it though. It's really bad. I
would use it every month. But you have so many things but you can use it towards self-care. You can do your hair, your eyelashes, your nails. You can do all those things, right?
I don't think so. I mean, no. if I can, I need to find out, because
no. But what do you mean? What can you use it for then? Like, no, you can't use it for self-care.
I don't think so. It's more like, you know, classes, like exercise classes, or equipment, like gym equipment, or like gym clothes and things like that. But I don't think it's for. But so I'm gonna double check.
Exercise allowance,
basically. But I'm gonna double check, or like swimming lessons, that sort of stuff. Yeah, well-being,
the physical well-being.
What
about your mental well-being, which is dramatically improved when your hair is laid?
Yoga, like spa treatments and stuff though.
That's a treatment though. Your hair.
It is. I'm gonna double check.
You should get a scalp treatment.
A scalp treatment.
Or a keratin treatment.
I want a new frontal.
Texture release.
You're talking about scalp treatment.
Brazilian frontal treatment. Yeah, no, I think it's better to have them than to have none. But I think a lot of companies just really miss the mark. And this is the time where we need it most.
For real.
I don't know when it's gonna end. When is it gonna end? When is this Cosy Lives ending?
Not anytime soon because energy's going up again. So
I need to check in with Martin Lewis to see what I'm supposed to be doing. I think nothing, but I like to
just double check.
I was looking at it was when you were over at mine, and I think what time was that? Like 9 o'clock, and we turned on the TV. I think it was to watch Love Island or something, and it was Martin Lewis on the TV. Was. And I was like, how did Martin Lewis get prime time like 9 p.m. or something, 8 p.m. TV? And I was like, that's literally what it's like to live in a cost of living crisis. Like Martin Lewis is now prime time.
That's where we are now. That's where we are.
Oh, it's sad. But I'm looking forward to escaping. I've seen no news that suggests that we will. Rishi, I literally haven't seen him. He's ghost.
He's literally so quiet. He's just like, shh.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about what are they doing in Westminster. Idea. I haven't heard anything about any of them. Not even any scandals. Nothing even scandalous. Except something.
It's intentional. Well, something will happen soon. We know it will.
Yeah. Yeah, I think on that note. No.
Oh, we didn't introduce ourselves.
Oh, we keep doing this.
We did the whole pod and didn't introduce ourselves. That's ridiculous. All right, go.
Hey, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa. You can call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR pod, episode 35. Okay, see you later. That's a wrap, guys.
Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Bye. That's so bad.